Alright, so I've been putting off my GSSR guide for quite a while now, but since the anniversary is literally right around the corner with the Tower event, or the Feed event if you want to call it that, ending in about 14 days when this video goes up, I thought now would actually be the time to give my thoughts and help you make a decision on what GSSRs are worth going for. So strap in, get comfortable, this might be a bit of a long one, we gotta dissect a couple of banners, how to best make use of your paid Saint Quartz, all that good stuff. So with all that being said, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's start getting into this. Now, the main differential from this GSSR and other ones, as you can see, is that this one is split between your male and female servants, right? So that's pretty interesting, although I do believe there are some people missing. Like, you will notice, this was some outcry when this originally came out, Draco's not on here. You can get Draco on your Destiny Order summon, but she's not on either side of the GSSR. So that, I know, will make some NA players that didn't know about this maybe a little bit salty. You know, there are just some characters that are missing. They have since, I guess, kind of fixed that moving forward, but I don't know, on some of these banners, Draco will oddly be missing moving forward. If you're trying to plan for getting the Space Ereshkigal, the Beast version of her, you might want to plan on getting her next year, because the same thing might also happen with her. Just, they might be trying to make Beast characters more sparse. So just something to know just right going into this. If you're one of the people that is like, I'm going to try to go for like a 1-in-4 on Draco, she's not going to be here. Now, the second thing is that this is not just because FGO is predominantly a waifu game, but I'm just going to advise that you don't do any of the male ones. Just because the male GSSRs, unless you really like one of these characters, like Muramasa, if he's your favorite character, then by all means, this is not a bad chance to get him. 1-in-3 shot to get Muramasa, Tyra, or Domin. If one of these three is your favorite characters, or Takasugi, Tets, or Rasputin / Kirei, I guess. If these are some of your favorite characters, these are not bad shots to get these characters. These are just not as high value as some of the female banners. And Oberon, the one that you probably would want to go for, is a 1-in-5 shot, where if you look at all of the female banners, they're all 1-in-3 to 1-in-4s, and they are, I would say, higher quality than what you're going to be getting on the male one. Not to say that, you know, Charlemagne is bad, Constantine is bad, and I guess Ruler Moriarty and Lancer Ryoma, they have some of their quirks to them, but a 1-in-5 shot is not what you want to be spending your paid Saint Quartz on. You want to give yourself the best possible odds to not only get the character you want, but also to get a character, in case you don't get who you want, that's going to be usable for you. For example, one of the ones that I'm considering, like, let me just use what I'm picking to kind of show you what I mean, is I'm looking at this one with Summer Ibuki and this one with Saber Medusa. That is because I don't have any of these three characters. These two are quite good. Pope Joanna's okay, but I would just be okay with having her because I like Pope Joanna. And while I already have Tiamat, getting NP2 is not bad for me, because it just means that Tiamat, who's already a nuclear bomb on legs, will be a hydrogen bomb on legs at that point. And the same thing goes for this one. I don't have Summer Ibuki on my NA account, so if I'm able to get her, that would be super nice. If I could get Proto Merlin, that would also be awesome for me. There have been a lot of team comps where I have been really missing out on her. It's not like it's going to change anything, but it'll make some of my team comps more convenient. And then if I pick up a third archetype Earth, well, she's kind of like a generalist farmer, getting another copy of her, I'm not going to be mad about. And I already have Ruler Scotty, but hey, at the very least, if I get her at NP2, I guess I could just use her as my quick looper now. So, like, kind of thinking it in that avenue, right? Where there might be one character that I would really like to get, but I'm okay with getting the other three. In fact, if you can find yourself in a position where, say you look at this one, where you really want Koyenskaya, but Okita, Alter, and Kama are also some of your favorite characters, by all means, hit that one. Like, that's going to be really good for you. But that is baseline what you need to be doing. You need to identify a banner that not only has a character you want, but also has other solid options on there. For instance, I would like to NP5 Castoria eventually, because Arts is my favorite card type, which I know is surprising to some people. Everybody thinks it's Quick for some reason, but Arts is my favorite, and so her being the character that enables that, I just want to get her to NP5 for that reason. But unfortunately, the other three characters are people I'm not really interested in getting. I know that while Himiko is nice looking, I'm never really going to use her. Same thing for Summer Kiara, it's probably going to be a nothing burger for me. And do we really have to talk about why I don't want Summer Abigail? She's not very good. She's not a great character. So it's me trying to run a 1-in-4 shot that I get who I want, but it's a 3-in-4 chance, 75% chance that I get shafted. If you put it in those numbers, that's not something that I want to put paid Saint Quartz towards, especially when that's going to run you about 12 to 15 bucks. So then we could start breaking down these banners. And again, I just want to say for male connoisseurs, again, if these are some of your favorite characters, by all means, I can't stop you, but I do think the female banners are a bit more high value, especially when you also look at some of the 4-stars. I mean, you've got people like Bargus, you've got Sith in here. I mean, Dobranea will also be pretty good when she gets her buff. And then you have these summer versions of not only Anastasia, but Corday that can be pretty useful. Kriemhilde's on here. Locusta's on here. Like, you've got some really strong options. I mean, not to mention you also have Hephaestus and Summer Eris on here, who are some absolute humdingers on this banner. So your 4-stars are also in a really high premium on this one. So just to go individually and break them down, I would just say that this one with the Castoria one is definitely bait. You're banking on a 25% chance that you're going to walk away with Castoria. Now, she is the best character in the game, so for some people, that might be worth it. If somebody like Kiara is one of your other just big waifus in the game, then realistically, 50-50 shot, right? You're either going to walk away with your big waifu or a character you really need, and then the other 50% chance you might get shafted. Or maybe you like all 3 of these characters, and you're like, you know what? I really want Castoria, but I wouldn't mind having Himiko, wouldn't mind having Summer Kiara. Then you have a 75% chance of not getting shafted, quote-unquote, because you're at least getting somebody that you like. But just in general, looking at some of the other characters that are on these other GSSRs, this one I would say is definitely the most bait. I mean, there's a reason they put all of the other, I would say, better characters on other banners, because Castoria is so good that she could pretty much hard carry it. The second banner here, this is just a solid smattering of options. Like, this is one that I was also kind of considering because I don't have any of these characters and all of them are pretty decent. So, Saber Ibuki, I said Summer Ibuki. Saber Ibuki is a really strong Buster AoE Saber that can do your Buster looping for you because she has a 50% battery. She has like an undead power mod, which is okay, I suppose, for some free quest enemies. I still don't think we have any undead trait servants, so she doesn't really have a good matchup for that, but she's generally pretty solid. If you're not rocking, you know, a Artoria or an Arthur in your account, or even a Mordred, if you're kind of lacking for that, she can definitely put up some good results for you. Tyra is not only really good now, she's going to get even better in the future, because I don't know what it is with Lasengel, but Melt, Tyra, all really good single target quick characters that they decided to give dummy nutty broken buffs to. So I have no idea what that is, but picking up a single target quick character just always seems to be pretty good. I mean, I've always described this as being like the quick equivalent of Jolter. She's actually probably a little bit better, which for newer players are gonna be like, what? No way, the Jolter's not. It's like, I understand. Like, I love Jolter too, but this character has 100% crit damage. They have a power mod against Genji. I mean, they have like the double guts and stuff that they can rock, especially with their Bond CE, and they get stronger as the fight goes on, and they have an insanely good buff. Not that Jolter's buff's not really good, it's just Tyra is a little overtuned, we'll say. She's a little dummy nutty broken. In fact, you might also notice no Jolter on here is a little annoying for me wanting to NP5 her. But anyway, Doman is also really nice. Doman in particular, I'll just pull this up just so you can actually see, because he does a very specific thing, and that he helps out chaotic evil allies, right? He's really good. You might see this dude pop up in a lot of team comps where it's like, oh, why are they bringing Doman into this team comp? It's literally for this reason. If you're chaotic and evil, you get 100% crit damage over here, and you also get 40% attack buff over here. And the debuffs aren't bad either, being able to lower the enemy's defense by 30% and make you a little bit more tanky. So this guy, even if you're not going to use him as a quick AoE down here, he's really insane to have into your account for these reasons right here. And just anytime they put out a chaotic and ideally chaotic evil character in the game, this guy is always going to be one of their more monstrous supports because he can make them look really, really pretty. Same thing for Van Gogh over here. She's a little bit more specific, I guess, in a way. Well, I don't know. Is chaotic evil more specific or is Foreigner more specific? But you can almost completely try to disregard this. Her kit is good, by the way. This isn't to say that this isn't like bad or anything. This is strong. But the thing that I think you would want Van Gogh for is this in specific right here. This is insane. Anytime a Foreigner character comes out, because pretty much every Foreigner is going to have existence outside the domain, immediately they are suspected to be paired with Van Gogh. Because if you look at this, if you're a Foreigner, you're getting 100% free crit damage on top of the 50% that you just have at NP1, and she's giving you stars, and she stuns the enemies, and she's gonna give you attack. I mean, it's just a bit ridiculous. And that's just that by itself. Again, that's like just dismissing everything she does over here, right? Just completely dismissing that. Her NP in and of itself immediately, has you looking at all of your foreigner characters in a different light. Which is why I say this isn't bad. Although it does kind of mean you have two more oddly specific support type characters, right? In the way that they're good on their own, but they open up some of your other box. But if you don't have the characters that meet those requirements, maybe Van Gogh is your only foreigner, or Doman is your only chaotic and evil character, then at least at the moment, you don't have the best pairings for them. But it is just nice if you have them on your account, because it immediately opens that up for you. That being said, well, I think this is very strong. Nobody here is really that bad. I think you can do better. Because if you immediately look down, and I know everyone's going to say, ZTL, you're going to say go for this one because it has Morgan on it. And surprisingly, no. The one that really makes this stand out is going to be Melusine herself. Because Melusine, if you're looking at your box, can functionally do two roles for you. She is a single target Arts Lancer and an AoE Buster Lancer with a 100% battery, meaning she is a rare Buster Servant that can do Black Grail farming. Don't know how rare that's going to be, seeing as we're starting to get more and more people that are able to do that, but she is going to be able to do that for you. So if you're lacking a really strong Buster AoE character, Melusine not only can do that for you, but she's also, I would say, a serviceable art single target unit. The reason I say serviceable is that functionally, as an art single target unit, you can't really use her third skill because that transforms you into the Buster AoE version, and it can cause some challenge runs and stuff to get a little bit wonky. But think about it this way, she can either be a single target for 90 plus or plus waves, as long as the enemy's not too large if she's at NP1, and then she can also pivot to give you extra damage as an AoE character and like be slotted in front of maybe your other farming character to give them overcharge. There's a lot of stuff you could do with Melusine. She is a very, very high value Lancer to get, and it helps that the other characters on her banner aren't bad. Miss Crane is a little interesting because I think she's a little undervalued in what she does, basically giving you another free plug suit, giving you a lot of really strong buffs on her NP. I think that's really fun. The problem is not that it's too hard to use. The problem is team cost. Her being a 5-star character that you're going to want to give another, probably something like Golden Catches the Carp to immediately have access to the stars you need for her skills, that's going to eat a lot of your team cost. I mean, doing a double support plus your main DPS, which is probably a 4 or 5-star character anyway, is already eating at a lot of your team cost, and you just don't really have the room for Miss Crane, especially when Summer Chloe is coming out on Summer Castoria's banner, and she functionally does the exact same thing that Miss Crane does, but arguably better, right? I mean, not only does she cost less, but she gets right to the point, and she herself is a really strong single target Avenger if you are needing that can put out some really good damage. But if you're in, the mood to kind of try things out with Miss Crane, she's not bad. As someone that did go out of their way to summon for her, she's not bad if you can fit her into some team comps with the correct CEs, maybe shelling out for a little bit more of those 3-star CEs, something a little bit more cheaper, stuff like Dragon's Meridian, stuff like that. That could be a little helpful for her, but just a nice consolation prize. But if you don't bag Melusine, you can either get Morgan or Karen, who are both really strong in their own right. Karen being a quick AoE character that's pretty decently strong. They can get the looping done. They also have the split batteries that make her very good as a quick looper, because sometimes you don't want to burn the entire 50% battery. You just want to use the 20% battery, and that's really good for her. So if you're lacking a good AoE quick character, Karen can fill that role for you. And Morgan, I've gone ad nauseum about on this channel as to why I think she's really good, but not only can she be a Buster AoE character for you whenever you're fighting a man attribute, a Knight of the Round Table, or a Fey enemy, but she's also really good whenever you're going into challenge quests. Specifically, if you'll look at a video on my channel called The Invincible Team Comp, Morgan pairs really nicely with supports because you can just toss her at the front of an NP chain. She automatically is going to buff up their overcharge just for the fact that she's going first, but then her NP gives them another layer of overcharge. So really, she overcharges everybody by 2. Gets really nasty when you have people like Merlin giving more stars, Castoria with more solemn defense, or I don't know, maybe you're just feeling quirky and you're bringing Tamamo and you're getting more NP on her overcharge. You can do a lot of really nice things with Morgan, and in those team comps, the damage doesn't really come from her NP, but from the crit damage that she's able to do, which is, further backed up by her third skill and, the other supports you bring around her. So you're still being able to put out a pretty good amount of damage, because Morgan, being a, crit berserker, can actually get some pretty good damage out there. So it makes a really strong, compelling case that if you don't really have anything, you could just go for this banner, right? You either bag Melusine, who's one of the more versatile units in the game. You bag Morgan, which really helps you out going into CQs and can help you out in some farming nodes. And Karen, if you don't have a quick character, she's really strong for that. But then we move on to the ones that give you the best odds for getting who you want. Because remember, these are still 25% chances if you want an individual character. These are 33.3% chances to get whoever you want. And you can already see her. They put her in the middle. She's mean mugging you right there. Koyenskaya is on a 1 in 3, and that is extremely tantalizing because unlike, say, Arts or even to some degree Quick, you can't really finagle a Buster team comp together because Buster farming pretty much exclusively only works because of this skill for Koyenskaya, a 50% battery that reduces your skill cooldown by 2. When you have 2 of these, you can refund the massive batteries that some of your Buster characters will have, and then they'll be able to loop all 3 nodes. It doesn't really work without Koyenskaya unless you're just trying to do raw NP farming, but even then, you're missing out on the very strong buffs that she's also providing, a power mod against man enemies, which, would you look at that, she's already stepping on Morgan's toes, and then also a pretty massive, substantial Buster buff that is going to really gas up your damage. So the fact that she's available on a 1 in 3, that is extremely tantalizing. Now, I actually did this one on JP and I walked away with Summer Kama, so you can get shafted on it, but if you're somebody that really likes Kama and you're trying to get your Buster guys off the ground, this is not a bad one to go farm on. Because even if you land with Okita Alter over here, that's not bad either. Okita Alter is a quick character that is capable of doing Black Grail farming with the double ruler Scotty, and you plug suit in the original caster Scotty, that type of team comp. She could do the Black Grail farming. I've been doing it recently, and it feels pretty dang good. Like, this character is really, really insane as a quick looper. I mean, she has the holy trifecta. She has a battery, good NP gain, and a solid quick buff. The only thing she's missing is a power mod, but I'm sure they'll give that to her in the future with the original Okita Alter getting one against Sky attribute enemies. If they even want to toss her a 50% for that, that would be massively helpful for her. So this is actually not bad. If you're missing Koyenskaya, unlike this one, that I do feel is a little bit of bait, because sure, some of the things that I said about Morgan are true of Himiko, and, you could get some pretty good usage out of Summer Kiara. She's a little bit slow because you do need to rank up her skills. That's kind of her whole gimmick. This one, you're already rocking 3 really good characters that are just straight up good. Like, Okita Alter does not really need any special bells or whistles or anything. You kind of just pop her stuff and you just let her go to town, and she'll just do really good. She'll just do some pretty good damage. She'll loop her NP very effectively. Like, she's just a really strong, quick AoE character. Koyenskaya, I mean, everybody already knows she's arguably the 2nd or 3rd best character in the game. It kind of just depends on where you value Oberon and, Koyenskaya. I actually did a video on that if you want to go check out a discussion from a couple of years ago. And then Summer Kama, I have some gripes with the way that she's built. She's built a little wonkily, but I can't say she's a bad character, right? It gets a little wonky because she has a power mod against charmed enemies, and then it's also tied to her NP damage skill, so like, some of her stuff was a little wonky and how you want to spread your damage against like 3 different waves, but it doesn't really work out the way you would want it to. But it's not like she's bad, right? I think if anything, it goes to show that they kind of had to limit the character a little bit, because if you were getting the charm on all 3 nodes, her base damage just being an Avenger, because Avengers have a really high, class modifier, and you just had the free NP damage at all times as well, this character would be a little bit of a problem. She would be a little too good. So, in fact, pulling for Summer Kama, like, if you do get her on this, not only do you get a super hot character, but you also get somebody that in the future, they could just easily be like, yeah, she has like a regenerating charm debuff that when she enters a node, she tries to charm all the enemies. I mean, if they gave her something like that, it'd be a problem. But this is not a bad banner. If you're looking at this one and you're like, ZTL, is this bait? I will tell you right now, I do not believe it's bait. This one I definitely do think is bait. This one I think is fine. I think these are some of your better options so far. This one is okay. You guys might have seen that I've come around recently on Koyen Dark. That is specifically because of some of her applications with Ace the Savior. The fact that her first skill is a 30% battery that goes really well with Ace's own append skill. It's giving her a buster buff, so it's a positive buff type to give her more damage. And it's the fact that Koyan Dark's second skill is an overcharge, which helps you access Ace's third skill immediately on turn 2 instead of turn 3. So you can get that, and it opens up a lot of different team comps and stuff. So I do look on her a little bit more favorably, and again, she's got some good stuff going for her. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that she's doing is overshadowed by what Kukulkan is doing, but hey, Kukulkan can't do the supporting that I need Koyan Dark to do for my wifey Ace the Savior, so she's at least got that. But unfortunately, even if this is, a really nice, 33% shot for all three of these, part of me can't help but think in like kind of a conspiracy way that they maybe threw this on here so they look the same. So maybe you get tripped up trying to go for Koyan Light and you go for Koyan Dark instead. Let me just tell you, let me be clear. The one you want, the support one, is Koyan Light. It's the sussy assassin one. That is the one you want. This one, she's good. Not nearly as good. Does not open up nearly as many different team comps. And if you already do have Koyan Light and you're trying to complete your little fluffy tail collection, this isn't a bad banner. Izumo is a single target quick character that has some ramping damage. She could be pretty good, especially if you don't really have an offensive caster. I feel like good offensive casters are really hard to come by in this game. And then Jox is also pretty solid. Like, Jox is very similar to someone like Karen. Like, just a really solid, or maybe even more similar to, like, Okita Alta over here, where she's just a solid, quick AoE character that can do some pretty good damage, and they can loot very effectively. So, like, if that's something you need, then you can maybe go for that one. But if you're trying to pick up a new support, I would definitely say go on that one. If you just want a nice smattering of pretty good characters, this is pretty good. This is okay if you really like one of them. But now we're starting to move down to some of the real humdingers. This one I don't really think is worth going on. The Trung Sisters and Super Bunyan, unless these are your favorite characters. Like, unless you like the new Gundam show, because I found out that this guy's artist also did the art for the new Gundam show. Unless you really like that, there's no reason to like really be using them. I mean, you could just use the Dio Scurry twins. You could use the new Saber Hokusai that's now available for everybody. You could use Saber Lancelot and effectively get the same results. I mean, not to say that these guys are bad or anything. They're just not exactly breaking the mold for single target art sabers. And same thing for Super Bunyan. They're the epitome of a mid character. Like, would I say that they're horrifically bad? No, I don't think you could say they're horrifically bad, but do they do anything particularly well? Not really, so they have to really fall in that mid category. And I do think this really is bait for people that want Bazette, because Bazette is really good. She's quite strong. She's one of the only characters in the game that effectively pulls out the counter strategy, which, to be fair, I think the only other person that is doing the counter strategy is what? Ongar Minyu? I think we got a new character. New Mash doesn't do the counter thing. I don't know, somebody in the comments will call me a big dumb idiot. I know there's another person that I think does counters, but somebody will remind me. But Bazette is basically our first good counter character, and she does a really good job at that. Getting into her NP, taunting herself, and smacking the enemy with some really strong crits, and then following it up with very strong NP level counters, that's not bad. And she's definitely, cleaned up some boss fights for me. I don't regret summoning for her at all, but this definitely does feel like bait, because even though I like using Bakken, most people, just from reading the comments of my own videos, I see you guys type, and I know how you guys feel about these characters. These three are not super popular, so more often than not, you're going to be running a 25% chance to get who you want, and a 75% chance to be sad and feel bad that you wasted your money. Now, if you're that much of a Bazette God Defender, by all means, I can't stop you. I'm just telling you, as your FGO St. Court's financial advisor, I would not recommend it. What I would recommend is one of the following banners. Specifically, if you don't want to go on either one of these, then you want to go on either this one or this one. This one is also pretty good, but it is really being propped up by Kukulkan. But I already told you guys, this is the one that I'm looking at alongside this one, because not only are all of the characters really good, I just also happen to not have a couple of them, but Summer Ibuki, arguably the best arts AoE character in the game. Scotty, you want those crazy Black Grail results with people like Saber, Alter, Okita over here, right? Completely butchered the name, but you want those good Black Grail farming? You need this woman, right? And like I said a couple of days ago, you might say right now, oh, I'm never going to want to use a quick character. I don't want quick. And then you look over, you'll see that Lilith is a quick character, and you're going to change your tune very, very quickly, all right? And if it's not Lilith, maybe you're a husbando guy. I hate to tell you, new Dante's, he's quick. All the new characters that are getting insane buffs, quick. Melt, Kama, Tyra, all those guys. Ridiculously good. And you know what they need? They need Ruler Scotty, right? 65% quick is better than the original Scotty's 50% quick. I know, numbers are crazy, but if you want to get those results, you need the new quick support. And she's really good at her job and can function as a quick looper in her own right. Like, she's fine looping herself. So if that's something you're interested in, you could do that, right? That's fine. Archetype Earth, very similar to Melusine in the way that you can have just 100% battery. That's just always going to be really good for any type of looper. A little bit less diverse, because technically Melusine, if you think about it, has 120%. As a single target, she has like a 30%, and then she can also use the 100% on her third skill. Archetype Earth is a little bit more balanced. She has the 100% battery, and then the 30% for her allies, excluding herself, which does come up. It's very, very nice. Going into CQs and stuff, you can just pump up your supports batteries and stuff so you can get to their very, very strong NPs. But not a bad character. You'll see a lot of people say that, oh, Archetype Earth needs to be NP5 to be good. And as someone that has recently acquired NP2 Archetype Earth, I can tell you that NP1 Archetype Earth can be a little bit disappointing. NP2, godsend. Like, it's literally night and day between these characters. Like, NP2, she's clearing nodes that I didn't think she should be able to clear. So very, very strong character. At least bagging one will always be useful, because just having a character in your Chaldea with a 100% battery that can put out some pretty decent damage and has a decent enough power mod against chaotic enemies, that's never really going to be bad. And then you also have Proto Merlin over here. I mean, this one, while it's not as strong as these two supports, you have two of the meta supports in the game. It's not Koi and Sky, it's not Castoria, but you got a 50% chance of walking away with a new support. And I got proven wrong when Lady Avalon initially came out. I said, I don't think you could use her as a substitute for a Castoria, and immediately was proven wrong. You can use Lady Avalon over here to sub out if you don't have your own Castoria. So if you want to do arts farming, instead of summoning on the bum banner, you can use Lady Avalon, and then if you don't get her, you probably got Ruler Scotty. And look at that. All of your quick characters are now going sick, nasty, goated with the sauce. You didn't get her? Well, congratulations. You got one of the better Buster AoE characters in the game. You didn't get her? Well, congratulations. You got arguably the best arts AoE character in the game. I mean, this banner is just high value. This banner just screams insane value. Like, if you're going to go for one, especially if you don't have anybody, this is probably the best way to not get shafted. This one I did say is being propped up by Kukulkan, and that is because Kukulkan is really good. She's really, really strong. Notably, just getting Kukulkan on her own is not as good as bagging Kukulkan plus Koyin Skaya. The reason Kukulkan is like really good with Koyin is that all of her skills need stars so she can have access to her immediate strength. Koyin Skaya on her second skill immediately bombs you the 20 stars you need for her first and third skill. But if you don't have that, and you don't have another character that's providing her stars immediately, it does take her a turn to generate those stars from her own NP, which does mean some wave 1 damage can look a little bit bad, especially because you don't want to pop the skills before you can rank them up with the stars. So it can be a little rough using Kukulkan. There's ways to get around it, you know, stuff like Golden Catches the Carp is like an easy way to get around that, but not everybody's going to have the mana prisms for that, or has been playing long enough to have like a CE like that gives you starting gauge in the stars. So just be careful about that one, right? I don't want anybody to see Kukulkan as one of the best characters in the game, and then go on this specifically, acquire her, be expecting the world of her, and she only gives them a continent, right? That's still really good, but it's not as good as they were expecting, right? Like, she's still very strong, but also keep in mind, a lot of the praise from her comes from when you're able to like fully utilize her and deck her out, but that does not mean she's bad on her own. Like, I'm trying to make sure somebody doesn't get disappointed. I'm trying to make sure somebody doesn't open their Christmas present and is sad at the very end. Because this character is still really dang good, but just remember, you don't have like the Koyin Sky and the Oberon and all the other people to make her go Super Saiyan, right? You're using base Goku. Base Goku's still strong, but he ain't no Super Saiyan Goku. You get it? All right, I think we all got that one. The other three characters on here are all quick, so you're either going to walk away with a really strong Buster AoE character, arguably the best Buster AoE character in the game. Like, let's just not kid ourselves here. I'm a Morgan defender till the day I die, but I'm not a crazy person. I'm not gonna speak falsehoods here and try to tell you that Morgan is even in Kukulkan's ballpark in terms of how good they are. So you're either walking away with that, or some really good quick AoE characters. Like Britomart and Huion can both get the job done as your quick AoE loopers. Like, they're fine, they're strong, they're solid. And then Senno Rikyu, you would think would be the summer Ibuki for quick, and she kind of is, and she kind of isn't at the same time. Like, Senno Rikyu suffers from having like a really small quick buff. Like, you look at her on paper, and you think she would be a looping machine. And now this isn't to say that she doesn't loop. Like, she can loop just fine. If you got the setup for her, you can kind of ignore this. But if you're trying to go into more difficult stages, like you're going up against like Zerks and Assassins and stuff, and maybe you are missing a Ruler Scotty, or you don't have the Caster Scotty to kind of give that additional large quick buff, the thing she's missing is that she has a very, very small self quick buff. Now, a lot of these other characters, they're rocking like 30 to 50%. She's only got the 20%, which does mean that you do see a bit less refund from her quick card. She does have this, which is nice as well, but it's not the same as having like a 50% Mondo quick buff. Because remember, these things add up. You know, for quick, it's very, very important to start stacking up these buffs. The NP gain is nice, but NP gain is more beneficial to arts, whereas quick, they really want those massive quick buffs. I mean, you'll see the results whenever you just throw an extra Scotty in there who gives you no NP gain, just only gives you a 50% quick buff that you plug Suitor in, and you just see a world of a difference. I mean, you see people going that shouldn't be Black Grill looping to then just Black Grill looping all over the place. So I do think that way of thinking about her as the quick summary Ibuki isn't wrong, but it also makes it sound like Rikyu's going to be nearly as good as Summer Ibuki, and Summer Ibuki is just a mountain and a half. Like, this character is ridiculously good. It's not anything on Rikyu, it's just this character is ridiculously overtuned. This character is a little disgusting, but none of these are bad characters. So it's like, if you're okay with any of these three, I mean, these are all just kind of like cute. I mean, I'm not a huge Rikyu fan, but I do like Britomart and I do like Huion over here. So for me, if I was going for Kukulkan, if she was my favorite character, I wouldn't mind getting one of these two. That would be a 75% chance for me to be happy, and a 25% chance of me being a little disappointed, but I guess I have a decent character. So again, I still think that if you just want Koyan, this is fine to go on. This is just value, value, value. This is also pretty high value, just not nearly as good because this has two just godly supports on it and some of the better AoE characters in the game. And then this one is just smitten full of just good characters. Like Saber Medusa right now on NA, I think has an argument for being the best single target quick character right now. Now that does change when we get, you know, new Dantes and Melt and Kama and just a smattering of other people all getting their buffs. That becomes a little bit more contentious, but she's still going to be really good. It's not that she got worse, it's just other characters got better. Durga, I think, is really strong. Might have some issues at NP1, but I have used her to clear the Tomias 90++ quest that we're going to be getting in October, so she is still capable of doing that at NP1 without Oberon, so just know that that is something you can do. She can still put in the work for you against some of those really difficult stages. Might need some face cards sometimes, but hey, her being able to turn all of her face cards into arts cards does mean as long as you found one of them, you got it in the bag. Pope Joanna is kind of like a goofy arts support character that, I mean, she's not bad. She's not really needed. It's just kind of like arts is flooded with good supports. I mean, now you just have choice paralysis of, okay, well, am I going to bring Castoria for the 500th time? Do I want to bring Tamamo and be based? Do I want to bring literally just arts Merlin? Or do I want to be a little quirky? Do I want to kind of mix things up a little bit? I mean, it's literally for maybe someone like me that's going to have my Castoria Bond 15, then I'm like, well, I guess I'll change it up a little bit and I'll bring Pope Joanna, right? Because we don't have the Bond 15 buff over here on NA. Won't have it for 2 years. And then Tiamat is Tiamat. I mean, Tiamat is a nuclear bomb. She's going to take your enemies and send them to the 9th layer of hell. There's no nice way to put it, right? She's just going to kill people, dude. She's just going to mow people down. I mean, if you get Tiamat, this character is good despite the fact that you do not have a Oberon or a Koyan Sky, because she just hits hard, man. Like, she damage, all right? She's just big damage all the time. So to reiterate, this is probably the most high value banner I could see here, that if you just want somebody good, you're always going to walk away with somebody good. Same thing for this one. If you just want a good character, you're going to get a good character. This and this one also fall down to that for some extent. And then obviously, if you feel like you're going to channel your inner Hikari and you're going to just gamble, then by all means, try to not get shafted. And I pray with fingers crossed that you get Castoria, because 25% chance, odds are not in your favor. But you know what? Some people will win the 1 in 4. So if you are that guy, by all means, go for it. This, I think, is a little bit safer because it's a 1 in 3, so even if you don't care for the other two, as opposed to a 25% chance, you've got a 33% chance of at least getting one of the best supports in the game. And then as far as for males, I mean, if you want to roll the 1 in 5 for Oberon, 20% chance, you can do that. I'm not going to stop you. I can't stop you, but I wouldn't advise it. You're probably not going to get him. Some people will. Some people will go on there and they'll say, I got him. But that does not account for all the people, the other... I mean, literally, like the Emiya scene, you know, that's hell you're walking into. You have the one guy that gets out, that got the Oberon, and then there's just the piles of bodies behind him that he's trudging through. All the people that are just walking away with Constantine, Ryoma, Ruler Moriarty, just getting nothing. Just getting a bunch of dog water servants over here. So I wouldn't do it. If Muramasa is one of your favorite guys, this is not bad. 1 in 3 shot, and the other guys are good. If you really like Tets, very strong servant. Same thing for Rasputin, 1 in 3 chance. If you just really like these guys, by all means go for it. But the female banners, they've got the supports. They didn't even have the grace to put Merlin on one of these banners. Do you know how crazy that is? I mean, I'm a little salty about the Draco thing. I'm also salty about Jalter, but they didn't even give the dudes Merlin, man. You know how disrespectful that is? Like, they just did not care about the male ban. Bro, 3 male banners? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. We could... No Iskandar. We couldn't put Gilgamesh on here. Merlin. I mean, like, isn't Ivan limited as well? Like, just none of these dudes. We couldn't cobble together a couple of extra banners. They know where they make their money. Yeah, they know. They know this is the waifu simulator. But hey, Husbando enjoyers, stand strong. If you're going to go summon on that, I hope you guaranteed get whoever you want. But with all that being said, let me know in the comment section down below which one you're going to be going on. I will be doing my GSSR polls live, and I'm actually thinking about putting it up to a vote for people that show up on the stream. So I might just put up, like, you know, this banner, this one, and this one, and then just let it ride and see who we get. Because realistically, for me at this point, and this is not to brag on people watching this video, but I've already got all the supports. So functionally getting a lot of these characters, I probably won't use them. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Like, I would probably get the most use out of, like, Proto Merlin. Unironically, like, Saber Medusa would be really sick. I just don't know how often I would actually use her. But it would just be nice to have. So, you know, we're going to be doing that live whenever this drops. Probably on, like, July 5th, I believe, is when FGO's panel is during Anime Expo. So it might not be that exact day. It might be the day after. I might be a little busy IRL with a little something around that time. If you've been around to the streams, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be a very fun day. But with that being said, enough about this parasocial relationship. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because my voice is killing me. Spent the last 40 minutes yapping about servants. Hopefully it was helpful to you guys. And if you have further questions, Discord down in the description down below. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Come out to those. All that being said, bye-bye.